Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming. It's great to be here. I think what we're going to do is start off with a little bit of a video that we put together of what we're doing, and that'll set the stage for what we're going to talk about.
The ocean plastic problem is truly a global issue. The health of the ocean affects us all, and every single consumer on the planet is contributing to the issue.
Even if you don't live near an ocean, you have food that comes from the oceans. The issue of marine health, I think, is really relevant for all of us.
1 in 10 bait fish today have plastics within their stomachs. That makes it up into the food chain. It ends up in the seafood that we end up consuming.
At Method, we try to lead by example. One of the ways we've done this is by making our bottles out of post-consumer recycled plastic. We're partnering with Whole Foods Market to bring a product to stores that raises awareness about the importance of keeping plastic out of our oceans. It just so happens that the plastic that we need to make this bottle is most abundant on the beaches of Hawaii.
Right here on the north tip of Oahu, we get marine debris from all around the Pacific.
We're partnering with Sustainable Coastlines to divert some of the plastic that you guys collect here today from the landfill and actually recycle it back into bottles like this.
We can support companies that use recycled plastics in their products. It sends a strong signal to industry that this is what we want.
We know that only a small amount of plastic will be taken out of the ocean through all of these bottles that we make. We know that's not the solution, but we also know that we can have a much bigger impact if we start to change people's minds about their role in protecting our oceans.
Right on. Well, can everybody hear me? All right. So what we wanted to talk about today is how we're working together to try to bring more awareness to this issue and showing how partnerships between corporations and nonprofit organizations can flourish, and they don't necessarily have to be looked upon as negative. But first, for this slide, I wanted to just really identify for you why Hawaii is really getting hit by so much of this plastic. This is a slide showing the North Pacific garbage patch, the gyre, North Pacific gyre, and you can see it spins, and it's getting trash from Japan, from Russia, from the Philippines. It's also getting trash from the United States, Canada, and also from Hawaii. Anywhere where the debris is falling out of the waste stream, it makes its way into, say, a stream, down into a river, into a harbor, out into the sea, gets caught in the gyre, and it just spins. And with the sun beating down on it, waves hitting it, and fish eating it, it just breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces, never really goes away, and lands on our beaches on the east side of all of our islands and on the south point of the Big Island really badly. So we're down there at the very bottom, and with our trade winds coming from the northeast, you can understand why, as the winds blow through that gyre, they end up on our coastlines. This is Captain Charlie Moore. He's one of the first guys to identify the North Pacific garbage patch, and
he was the guy in the silly hat in the video.
Yeah, he likes to wear clothes that are made out of marine debris. He's quite the character, and he's been a champion. He's written a really good book called The Plastic Ocean. You should check it out. And that's him holding a sample of the middle of the ocean there, thousands of miles away from any landmass. And that's the concentration of plastic in the ocean there.
Yeah, and where it ends up is here. I took this picture about 1.5 miles from where we're standing right now. And a lot of people come to a place like this. It's beautiful, and they don't realize that this is actually happening right here. Hit me with the next slide, please. This was on that exact same beach. So this is a Hawaiian green sea turtle, an endangered species, and you can see that plastic up in the upper left of the photograph. And it's just sort of, for me, I don't live in Oahu. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, but I'm fortunate enough to come out here pretty often. And for me, this was one of the things that was just incredibly striking, which is you have this beautiful environment and these endangered species making their home on a beach that's made out of plastic. And so, I started thinking about what can we do about this issue. Everyone is affected by this ocean plastic problem, even if you don't live by the water.
There's over 100 million tons of garbage essentially floating in the Pacific Ocean alone.
We need to have this conversation because we're at the point in history now where this is a new age. This is the plastic age. It's more plastic than steel, and we really don't know where it belongs. It's starting to show up everywhere.
A lot of people think that the gyre is a floating island of trash, and if that were true, we could go clean it up. The reality is it's more like a plastic suit. The fact that this plastic out in the gyre is small makes it even worse for wildlife.
It becomes even more of an unseen, hidden danger, if you will.
Plastics are sponges and sources for pollutants. It's becoming this phony food.
Fish are eating it, and ultimately that's getting into the food that we eat.
Everybody's actions and what they're consuming is having a tangible effect of what's washing up on our beaches.
You can see this guy here, this is a Coke bottle, and this is a Japanese Coke bottle.
It's not being adopted as a serious issue by the nations of the world.
We ought to really reduce it and stop it from going in there in the first place, now, when we still have a chance.
All right, now that we've thoroughly depressed everyone, we're going to move on to the optimistic portion of the program. So it is a big issue. Many of you know about it, but let's talk a little bit about what we're trying to do about it. So my business method, we're known for bright, colorful packaging, but a lot of people don't know that we make all of our packaging out of 100% post-consumer recycled material. So we were the first company, and actually we're kind of still the only company doing that, but all of these bottles are made exclusively out of stuff that's been recycled. And yet we found that a lot of people didn't really care. They either didn't know, or when they found out, this idea of why that was important wasn't really that interesting to them. And so that's when I started thinking about this idea of what is the ultimate recycled material? And if we could do something really unique, then perhaps we could raise awareness and create a message in a bottle about the reasons why it's important for us to do the basics that we've always heard about: reduce, reuse, recycle. You can skip that one. And so what we've created is actually this little guy. I'll pass a couple of these around, but this is a dish and hand soap that we make that's packaged in a bottle that is 100% post-consumer, and a portion of which is plastic that's come right off of the beaches here. And this is sold nationally at Whole Foods, and we produce those videos along with it, and we've created a tremendous amount of awareness that we'll talk about. That's helping to carry the message about why recycling is important. I'll pass a couple of these around. What you'll notice is it's basically an ordinary plastic bottle. But that's kind of the point. But with every one of these that's purchased, 15 grams of plastic comes directly out of the ocean. I started Method in part because I wanted to show that business could be a positive force for social and environmental change. The Ocean Plastic Project, in a lot of ways, is our ultimate representation of that.
We're using innovation as a way to not only try to solve a problem, but bring broader awareness to a problem. In my mind, that's what great design is. It's about solving problems and creating change.
Our whole windward side of our Hawaiian Islands collects plastic pollution and marine debris.
You find all of these household items or daily use items like old toothbrushes, old forks.
One of the things we're known for is sustainable packaging, and we've partnered up with Sustainable Coastlines to do something pretty unique, which is for the first time we're going to be taking this plastic that's on these beaches here and actually recycling it instead of it having to go to landfills.
We're going to be breaking up into 4 different groups, going out onto the other side of the bluffs and collecting the marine debris that we can find on the beach. Method's going to take the plastic, and then the city and county is going to come and help us and take all the trash away.
In a few months, this stuff's going to turn around and hit the shelves of Whole Foods, and hopefully get other businesses out there to follow Method's lead and start using recycled plastic instead of all that virgin stuff. So Kahi, you want to talk a little bit about the volunteers and all the good people that we have to help us out?
Yeah, so this was actually the first cleanup that Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii had. It was pretty much the impetus of Sustainable Coastlines starting. Our friends from New Zealand started Sustainable Coastlines and came here for the Marine Debris Conference. And we were inspired by the fact that from New Zealand, they were able to arrange this many people to show up to clean up. And it was just a sign that, hey, this is something that could be used here to promote coastal stewardship, get people to understand their consumer behaviors are having a tangible effect onto the coastlines through our overuse of plastic, and that community service, more importantly, can be fun. So this was our first cleanup.
And you guys do a great job. We're going to have a cleanup tomorrow, which we're going to recruit all of you guys for, but these guys do an amazing job of making these events a ton of fun. So talk a little bit about the process. We just kind of roll through this one. So the first thing we do is we grab this plastic, we ship it to California, and we chop it up into stuff that looks like this. Keep going. We send it through big machines that look like this, which is ordinary stuff that in the normal recycling process. And we create a resin that looks like this. You'll recognize that as the color of the bottle. Roll again. And ultimately produce the bottle that's going around. This is the process actually all in one. It's kind of a difficult thing to create a supply chain for plastic that's floating in the ocean. But with the help of these guys, what we've been able to do is kind of create, through a volunteer effort, be able to feed that into a normal, it's a normal industrial process with a few tricks to it that help make sure that it's clean and safe and it can be recycled. But ultimately, that's how we're able to produce what you have out there. And I think the last video we're going to show is actually kind of the point of all of this. So the point of all of this is that we're creating a movement and awareness behind not only the issue, but that there are everyday things that we can do in our lives to make a difference to it. And what's been fantastic about what we're doing is not that we're able to create this product that you can sell at Whole Foods. That's fine, and it's a nice example. But that we've created an absolutely enormous amount of following for this. And I think the first video is one that CNN did, and it came out here to interview Kahi.
Yep.
Miles of beautiful white sand covers Hawaii's east shore on Oahu. But look closer, says Kahi Pacarro. What are we walking on?
It's a mix of fine sand and microplastic.
This is part of the garbage patch, what we're standing on.
Yes, this was once in the gyre.
The gyre, known as the Pacific Garbage Patch. Floating trash swirling in the ocean, eventually slamming into Hawaii. Plastic being swallowed by fish who confuse it for food. And seabirds. Look at what's inside this dead bird found in a remote section of Hawaii. This is where your plastic trash ends up, says Pacarro's group Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii. They've been cleaning up the beaches, but realized this wasn't making any real dent into the problem. They needed a new idea. Attack the source, the consumer. Once Sustainable Coastlines Hawaii picks up the plastic off the beach, it's collected here and put into these boxes in Pacarro's garage. And from here, it heads to California. The manufacturer, Method, recycles the plastic garbage into this simple soap bottle. Recycling isn't new. Educating the consumer this way is.
The impact that Method makes is far greater in the awareness that we're raising in consumers' minds.
Is Method's plan working? At Whole Foods, the little blue tag got Ashley Thorson buying.
I would definitely go on to buying that product.
A simple idea and a step forward in cleaning up a seemingly endless problem. Kyung Law, CNN, Oahu, Hawaii.
Yeah, and that video just kind of just shows that CNN has caught on and that other people have caught on. I get emails probably once a week from different manufacturers wanting to get some of this plastic or trying to figure out how they too can use ocean plastic in their products. It's not necessarily because it's going to make them sell more, but just to show that they are being more conscious to the environment as well.
Yeah, it's, sorry for this tiny photograph. The tiny photograph in the middle down there, that's the EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson, one of Obama's other cabinet members and the mayor of San Francisco that came to our office and did a live press conference about this. Roll. Forbes, roll again, Wired, New York Times, keep going, keep going. The net result of all of it is that we've had over 150 million press impressions associated with this project. And it's created just a tremendous following of people that are really starting to carry this message more broadly.
Yeah, and it's probably ended up with our 1,000 likes on Facebook as well.
Yeah, and do you want to talk about the impact it's had on some of the cleanup efforts?
Yeah, for us, like when we started our beach cleanups, one of the problems is our finite land here in Hawaii, and we're really didn't want to be picking up a bunch of garbage and sending it to a landfill or sending it to an incinerator where it's burnt. We wanted to figure out ways to recycle as much as we could, and Adam's solution was, hey, give the hard opaque plastic to me and I'll turn it into bottles. And you know, it's been such a perfect relationship in that sense, and it's also given our participants a better understanding of the reusable aspect of plastics as well.
Yeah, I think another interesting aspect is now Sustainable Coastlines is getting a lot of interest from other parties and other businesses that can use other parts of the stuff coming off of the beaches that we can't use. And so that kind of helps to amplify the message in the future.
Yeah, for example, the Adam can take the hard opaque plastic, the stuff that you can't really see through, and on my side, what the other stuff we find are like ropes or PET bottles, you know, like single-use plastic water bottles all the time. That stuff has Pharrell Williams' company, Parlay, they want to make jeans out of it. So they're going to be taking our plastic bottles and hopefully making jeans out of it soon.
Yeah. And so where are we going next is the question. So this container is actually sitting on the west lawn of Turtle Bay. So if you get adventurous, you can go over by the stables and see it out there. But one of the things that we did in the very early days, it was Kahi and I and a couple of these guys out here picking this stuff up and packing it up in wardrobe boxes and sending it to California. That's obviously not very efficient, nor is it very cost effective. So we bought this container, and it lives here at Turtle Bay. Thank you very much to Skip if he's in the audience. And we fill it up periodically and then ship stuff in larger quantities to California. So if you go there now, just this morning, we were packing up some very large sort of boxes for shipment. And what we get tomorrow at the beach cleanup will go to this container and ultimately kind of go through that as well. What that does is it allows us to lower the cost of collecting that stuff and making these bottles, which frees up more money to come back to the organizations like Sustainable Coastlines that are helping us to create this program, and then we ultimately can scale it larger and larger over time. There's Louise, Kahi's wife. And the other part of scaling up is we're now actually starting to expand to other islands. So there's an organization called the Hawaii Wildlife Fund, and we've been working with them on some of the beach cleanups that they're doing on the Big Island, which also has a lot of the same issues that the North Shore of Oahu has. And with our container here at Turtle Bay, we have the ability to now start sending shipments and consolidating them from the Big Island here so that we can get a larger mass of things going. That's just these are from the Big Island, places like this, and that's what we do with it.
Yeah.
One of the other aspects, we have a couple of people from Kokua, Hawaii in the audience that we're doing. We've actually created a Hawaii School Bottle Cap Collection Challenge where we're reaching out to schools in the area and getting kids to bring in bottle caps, which is one of the largest number items that we find out here on the beaches. And we're recycling these in this container and bringing them back through that same infrastructure to create, in this case, not method stuff, but another partner, Preserve, which makes sort of knives and forks and cutlery and that sort of thing. And this is, from what I understand, just talking to these guys this morning, has been is so far, it's not even launched really, but it's already becoming a very successful program where kids are getting really engaged in this issue here in Hawaii, and we're now thinking about ways about how do we take that even beyond Hawaii to educate kids more broadly. We're educating kids. So join us. You want to give them the pitch?
Tomorrow morning, meet in the lobby around 10:15. Buses will be leaving at 10:30. We're hoping to have as many of the Wanderlust participants and locals join us. We're going to have shuttles running about every 20 minutes. We're going to the dirtiest beach on this island, Kahuku Beach, and it's such a shocker because you go on these beaches right here and they're pretty much flawless. There's barely any trash on them, and it's not as a result of people cleaning them. It's a result of the currents. Once you get right around Kahuku Point, you're on the east side. Right here, we're pretty much on the north still. But once you turn that corner where we're going to go to clean tomorrow, you're going to be blown away by the amount of plastic that washes up on shore there.
And we're going to bribe you with a financial incentive. So many of the vendors out here have agreed to give any participants in the cleanup deep discounts, I understand.
And raffles. Like everyone's going to get a raffle ticket.
For food, so.
Oh, yes. Pura Vida is donating bracelets to everybody that participates as well.
So please come join us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.